maximum alert in Chicago. An elite lineman with an alarming physical issue could be our last hope as a key veteran leaves us for the champions, leaving us vulnerable. But the masterstroke is near. A college superstar has our head coach obsessed, and an NFL legend revealed something that's terrifying. The entire division, the future of our franchise, is being decided now. Dare to stay until the end? Like and subscribe to be the first to know everything. What we're seeing in Chicago is absolutely ridiculous. The future of our offensive line is literally being measured in inches, and nobody seems to be talking about what this really means. This LSU tackle, Will Campbell, is being questioned by everyone because his arms measure 33 inches. Are we seriously going to reject possibly the best offensive lineman in the draft over an inch? Really? Please. I've seen this guy play, and let me tell you this, he has the technique, the power, the athleticism we need to protect Caleb Williams. We're not talking about just any prospect. We're talking about a beast who dominated the best edge rushers in the SEC week after week. And you know what's the most absurd thing about this whole situation? That at the combine his arms measured 32 and 5/8 inches, but at his pro day, magically, they increased to a full 33 inches. Are you telling me the entire future of our franchise depends on 3/8 of an inch? Are we all crazy? There are teams that rank him as the best offensive lineman in the draft, the entire draft, and we're here obsessed with a measurement that isn't even consistent between evaluations. You know what the real problem is here? The obsession with perfect measurements. We're talking about an exceptional athlete who dominated in the SEC, the toughest conference in college football, and we're worried about the length of his arms. Let me ask you, isn't Rashawn Slater thriving with the Chargers with the same measurements? Of course he is. Isn't Joe Thuney one of the best guards in the league without having gorilla arms? Didn't Jason Kels build a legendary career without having the ideal physical prototype? Absolutely. Talent, determination, technique, and football intelligence outweigh measurements every single day. And that's why teams that obsess over numbers and not football players end up drafting busts over and over again. Remember Tony Mandarick? The most impressive physical specimen in history. And what happened? A total failure while Barry Sanders, Deion Sanders, and Derek Thomas entered the Hall of Fame. The real debate here is whether the kids should play, tackle or guard, and I completely understand the doubts. It makes sense to worry if he'll be able to handle the elite edge rushers of the NFL. The Micah Parsons, the Myles Garretts, the TJ Watts of the world. But if he falls to the 10th pick, Ryan Poles would be criminal. If he doesn't pick him, criminal. We're not in a position to pass on talent like this over concerns about an inch. And you know what? If he doesn't work out at tackle, you move him to guard, and you have a potential all-pro interior lineman for the next 10 years. Where's the risk? And speaking of our offensive line, I just found out that Matt Pryor is going to the Eagles. Do you realize what this means? We lose a veteran who started 15 games last season. A guy who was ranked as the 8th best guard in pass protection, according to PFF. And now what? Who's going to be our backup swing tackle? Some 7th-round rookie, a free agent nobody wants. Wake up! Pryor could play multiple positions on the line, had 92 games of NFL experience, and knew the system. He wasn't perfect, of course not, but he was a vital piece for our depth. And now he's going to the champions, the Eagles, because they probably offered a slightly better contract. In a league where injuries aren't the exception but the rule, we just lost our most valuable insurance policy. The Bears completely rebuilt the interior with Thuney, Jackson, and Dalman. Brilliant moves, no doubt. But I think we now have a serious depth problem. One injury, just one injury, and we'll be in serious trouble. Who's going to protect our franchise quarterback if someone gets hurt? I tell you this, we need to find another versatile veteran quickly. We can't risk the whole plan falling apart for lack of an adequate replacement. Although let's look at the bright side. Our starting line looks dominant. Thunny comes with 4 Super Bowl rings and 3 consecutive Pro Bowl appearances. The man has blocked for Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, and now he's coming to protect our gem Caleb Williams. It's insane the level of experience he brings. Jackson will be used in his natural position under Ben Johnson, who already turned him into a Pro Bowler in Detroit. The connection is there. The chemistry will be there from day one. And Dalman will be the anchor we need in the center. At just 26 years old, with all his potential still to be unleashed. But I ask you, will it be enough without solid depth? The season is long and brutal. Remember last year we allowed 68 sacks, the highest number in the entire league. 68! That's more than 4 per game. It doesn't matter how talented your quarterback is, if he's on the ground, he can't work magic. And while we've significantly improved the starting line, a couple of injuries could bring us back to that hell. Ryan Poles needs to act NOW and find more depth before it's too late. And now let's move on to what could be the move of the year. Ashton Jeanty. This guy is an absolute phenomenon. 2,601 yards and 29 touchdowns at Boise State. We're talking ALIEN-like numbers. He was a Heisman finalist and won practically every major award for a running back. The Maxwell, the Doak Walker, the Earl Campbell Tyler Rose. And you know what? Morris Jones-Drew, one of the best running backs this league has produced, just said he's the best prospect he's seen in the last 10 years. 10 years. We're talking about a decade where we've seen Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, Ezekiel Elliott, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, and Bijan Robinson enter the league. MJD even said he's better than Saquon Barkley as a prospect. Dude, you know how absurd that is. Barkley was considered a generational talent, an out-of-this-world athlete, and MJD is saying Jeanty is better. And I think he's right. This kid has contact balance, vision, power, speed, catches passes, blocks. He does absolutely everything. We're not talking about a one-dimensional running back. We're talking about a 3-down machine who never leaves the field. What impresses me most about Jeanty is his ability to pass protect. As MJD said, Saquon wasn't as good a blocker at Penn State, while Ashton will put his face in there. In the modern NFL, a running back who can't block is a running back who doesn't play on 3rd down. And Jeanty not only can do it, but he wants to do it. That speaks to his mentality, his commitment, his willingness to do whatever it takes to win. Big question is, will he fall to our number 10 pick? And if he does, are we willing to use such a high pick on a running back? I tell you this, Ben Johnson built his offense in Detroit around a dominant running game. The Lions were among the top 6 teams in rushing the ball in the last 3 seasons. In 2022, they were the 11th best rushing attack. In 2023, they moved up to 5th place. And last season, they were the 6th best rushing team. See the pattern? Johnson believes in establishing the run. And let's not forget they picked Jahmyr Gibbs with the 12th pick 2 years ago, and that move was criticized by everyone. And what happened? Gibbs ran for 1,412 yards and 16 touchdowns last season. Case closed. Can you imagine Jeanty running behind this newly rebuilt offensive line? With Thunny and Jackson opening holes, Dalman controlling the middle, and Williams keeping defenses honest with his arm. It would be devastating for the division. Absolutely devastating. Swift and Roshan Johnson are good players, but neither has the game-changing potential that Jeanty has. Swift averaged just 3.8 yards per carry last season, 3.8. And Johnson is mainly a goal line back. This kid could be our Christian McCaffrey, our Bijan Robinson. A complete weapon that would make our entire offense take off. Imagine a backfield with Williams and Jeanty. NFC North defensive coordinators would have nightmares. The Lions, Vikings, and Packers would have to dedicate extra resources to stop the run, which would open up the field for DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Rome Oduns. It would be the perfect scenario for the development of our franchise quarterback. Isn't that exactly what we need? And going back to Campbell, if both are available at pick 10, Ryan Poles will have a brutal decision to make. The tackle with the short arms or the port. Generational running back? I think there's no wrong answer here. But the fact that we're in this position shows how well this front office has worked. Just a year ago, we had holes everywhere. Now we're debating between two potential superstars. What a difference a year makes. In the end, it all comes down to Ben Johnson's vision for this offense. Does he want to build from the trenches out or prefer to add explosive weapons for Caleb Williams? I ask you, what would you prefer? A potentially dominant tackle for the next 10 years or a running back who could be the next big name in the league? There's no wrong answer, but the decision will define our offense for years. Do you think we should take a risk with a tackle whose arms everyone questions, or is Campbell simply too talented to pass up? Leave your opinions in the comments. Are you worried about the lack of depth in our line after Pryor's departure? Or do you trust Poles to find an adequate replacement? Share your thoughts. And finally, does Ashton Jeanty deserve to be picked with the number 10 pick? Or would you prefer another player? Bears family, you are the best fans in the NFL, and your support makes this channel possible. If you want exclusive analysis on every move our team makes, hit that subscribe button right now and turn on notifications. See you in the next video to keep talking about our Chicago Bears. Bear down!